Well, hello everyone. Almost caught me. How are you? How you doing? Well, good Wednesday night to you. We're just waiting for Jeff here to log on. Um, right before he started, of course, what happens? He had to reboot. So, um, I'm going to keep a watchful eye and see when he gets here, and we'll get him in. So, how's everyone doing? Good Wednesday evening, maybe Thursday morning. I don't know. That's what I love about a round globe. You know, time is always relevant. And here is Jeff now. So, let me get him in. Just takes me a second, folks. So, do 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 do, ba 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 ba. And he is coming on here. There he is. And I have to unmute him. Hello, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm well, Wayne. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. You're looking awfully well there.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Well, just the little bug is apparently kicking everybody's butt.
It is. I tried to get a little sun today. We finally had some good weather, and I think that's helped me a little bit.
Well, how warm is warm there? I mean, you said get back kind of normal.
Well, it was in the 60s today, so.
Oh, that's okay. Compared to what you guys gotten here recently, that's an improvement, right?
Absolutely, it definitely is.
Wow, excellent. Well, we haven't seen you in a week, so I'm probably like a lot of people in the chat room. How you been? What you been doing? And kind of fill us in.
Well, I've been trying to keep up as much as I can. I just can't do any live videos. I've contested the copyright strike, and they say, okay, if we don't hear from them within 3 weeks, we'll put you back up. So I probably have another week and a half to wait before I go back into live shows on YouTube. So in the interim, I'm doing live shows on Twitter and Facebook and putting up recordings on YouTube. And fortunately, through it all, we've managed to pick up a couple thousand subscribers. So it
Good.
hasn't all been bad. So I'm just trying to get over this throat issue. It's really beating me up. I'm sorry to have to drink, but it's got to keep it going.
Hey, listen, it's as Dr. Miller said, the number one cause for most people's illness is lack of moisture.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I got off my regimens. I have several regimens that I'm on, and if I stay on them, I don't get sick. But I got sidetracked and it jumped up on me. So I only have myself to blame.
Well, and it's our culture. I mean, if it isn't the drugs they're giving us, which dehydrates you, it's the other environment in itself it dehydrates you. So, and then you drink the water. If here's the thing, I think Jeff is going to come out in the next 5 years. All the bottled water, all the what is it, the BHBs that actually come off the plastic.
Right.
It's a byproduct of the oil that is in there. And we're drinking this, and now we've been drinking it for generations. I don't know.
Wayne, is it true that you have a new microphone?
I do.
Thank
How does it
God.
sound?
About time.
How does it sound?
It sounds good. I saw someone said, Wayne, show us your new mic.
Okay. The thing literally weighs 15 pounds.
Oh, wow. Well, at least you got a good one.
Let me see. Here it is.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
It's a Blue Yeti. So, yeah, this thing is sweet. But the thing about it is, it hears you if you change your mind.
Ah.
It's really sensitive. So, anyway, so picking up good thing. How is Facebook going live?
It's okay. I think that Twitter is better for me. I've got 115,000 followers there, so I'm trying to migrate some of them over to the YouTube. I'm not sure what I did to make 110,000 people mad. I get 115 there, 11,000 only on.
Maybe it was because you weren't broadcasting on Twitter.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to be at almost 11,000.
Well, that's great.
For here on YouTube. So we're excited about that. And I was also kind of excited, Wayne. I know we did the we did the prediction show with Rex on New Year's Eve, and I predicted that before the end of Trump's first term that North and South Korea would reunite. And today they come out and they say that they are going to march under a unified flag at the Olympics. So most people hate to say I told you so. Personally, I love it. I love saying I told you so.
You know, it's better than seeing mushroom clouds.
And there you go. Absolutely it is.
I mean, if pride and ego is going to be the thing, forget that, Jack.
And it is, people don't understand how huge it is for the North to agree to march with the South as a unified company in the Olympics. I'm telling you, the reunification is coming. That is huge, or as our president would say, huge.
I wonder who's going to foot that bill, though, because you know that this North Korea, I mean, it's going to be a huge investment. Hello, Davey. How you doing? I'm just going to say hi to some people. Boy, that's filling up here quick, Jeff. Joanna, John, Heather, how you doing? Scotty Hall, how you doing? Jeffrey Syke, how you doing? Jen Fisher, how you doing? Boy, it's just glad to see everybody. Thank y'all for stopping in.
And Wayne, allow me to say that I did today send out the very last of all of the Mistech and all of the rods, so people that are wondering will know what that is. So it's on its way. Thanks for being patient.
Hey, listen, patience pays off.
And Wayne, I'm telling you, you're going to see Kim's going to go into exile. Russia, U.S., China are going to broker a deal to reunite the Koreas, and everybody's going to get rich when the first world nations raid the mineral wealth of North Korea. So it'll probably turn out they've created this whole thing just to get at that mineral wealth, and now they'll give themselves a hand, pat each other on the back for solving a crisis that they created.
You know, years ago, I read a novel called Carrying Comfort. Thick thing. It was like 800 pages. But the whole point to this, it was that unseen master group. And what you just described there, it's all about money. It's about control of wealth. It's about power and inflicting control. I mean, it's crazy.
It is. Somebody asked, how do you know this, Jeff? I just know. That's all I can say. I just know.
It's out there. And so, listen, I really thought that the way that this thing was going off, that this guy was going to pop off another test, candle. And, Trump, I think, had literally had it about up to here. And I think that level has gone back down now. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction. And, what a best opportunity in competition of games.
I think it's all the art of the deal, Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a master at it. There's no doubt about that. I think anyone, who has ever underestimated him has always ended up on the short end of that deal.
And that's one of his strengths. People think he's an oaf. People think he's a dummy. People think he's a megalomaniac, and he might be those things, but he's crazy like a fox. And when all the smoke settles, he usually is standing there with more zeros in his checkbook than he had before it all started.
Well, I still say that the whole elite is just PO'd at him because he's not beholden to anybody. He doesn't care. And that every person that normally has been in that office has had something that the guy in the background has had. It's like, listen, you're going to do this. I found it interesting that they announced in the Obama library, guess what 2 documents will not be in there?
Well, I'm guessing that one of them would be his birth certificate.
Bing.
And maybe the other one would be his academic records.
Ed, tell the man what he has won.
How about that?
That's all I got to say. Just
Scotty Hall asked, is Trump a time traveler?
I don't know. Did you I watched some of that news conference until it just went off past fringe. It just got crazy. But I found it interesting. Here you have this naval doctor standing up there and saying, in essence, hey, the guy's just got good genes. He said, go figure. I got a little cholesterol, a little weight problem, but hey, you know, this dude is in good health and they can't handle that.
If he would quit eating all the crap he eats, he'd even be in better health.
Oh, I just thought of something.
Why is he
So,
eating McDonald's and KFC and
all
all
right.
this
So,
crap?
the classic experiment, right, with the Big Mac that the guy did, for 6 months.
Oh yeah, supersize me.
Yeah. And no, this is the one where he left it out.
Oh, that's
And
right.
yeah, and nothing grew on it.
And it didn't even rot.
Maybe that's the key to longevity of health.
Trump will live forever because he's full of McDonald's.
I tell you, Jeff, we live in very interesting times. Hey, I want to bring up this thing, if I could, about the flu, and allow me do some fill in while I pull up this article.
I don't think I have the flu. Hopefully I don't. And Wayne, I'm not a big NFL fan. I used to watch the NFL a lot. I don't anymore. I was sick. I happened to turn it on and watch. I watched most of the game with Minnesota and the Saints. And I got to tell you, Wayne, as crazy as it sounds, I am now convinced that the NFL, if it's not fixed, it's scripted.
What I didn't watch any of the games, so what's going on here?
Well, the last play of the game, I don't want to talk football, but Minnesota's out of timeouts. They've got the ball about midfield. They can't really kick a field goal, so they can't stop the clock. They throw a ball to a guy that he catches the ball inbounds, surrounded by two Saints players, and the one Saints player whiffs on the Minnesota player by about a full yard, knocks down the other Saints player, so he can't tackle him either. And the Minnesota player runs in, wins the game. And I played defensive back, started on a high school team that we had 4,000 people in our senior class, played a little small college football. I was a defensive back. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't make that mistake. That guy had a chance to blow that receiver up. He had a chance to wipe that receiver out. He had a chance to at least hold him and tackle him in bounds, and the game's over. I'm telling you, that guy who had 4 interceptions this year, he's a leader, one of the leading candidates for defensive rookie of the year at least in the NFC. There's no way that he ducked his head, Wayne. He whipped, he missed the guy by at least 2 or 3 feet and knocked down his teammate who could have taken him out. Wayne, it was scripted. It was scripted. I hate to say it. I know it sounds crazy, but it was scripted.
Wow. Now, was this in Minnesota's favor?
Yes.
Okay. And isn't it odd that I heard last week that Minnesota was favored to go all the way?
And they just happen to have the Super Bowl in their home stadium this year.
No,
and they just happen to have put up with a lot of crap from all these Somali immigrants over the past few years. So maybe it's a little quid pro quo. Maybe it's a little payback. I'm not sure why, but somebody's talking about WWF, WWE. I'm not sure which one it is now, but that's exactly what it is. It's
Oh, well, listen, it's a nonprofit.
It is nonprofit, isn't it? And it's funny they say before the show comes on, before the games come on, this is a copyright presentation of the National Football League. And I thought something had to be scripted to be copyrighted.
Well, they're just not showing us the script. They're just showing us the action. Did we lose Jeff? There he is. Hello, Jeff.
No, I just had to blow my nose. I didn't think.
Oh, well, hey,
that.
Yeah, well, I agree. Well, all right. So let's just see.
How's that for filling in?
I think that's fantastic, dude. Man, I mean, we like pros. That's all I got to say. We like pros.
It's scripted. It's fixed. It's rigged. I'm telling you, folks.
All right. Do you see the screen here, Jeff?
I do see the screen. It looks like a mirror.
Think the flu season is bad? It might even get worse. So I have a couple of stories that tie in from subscribers. Gaz over in the UK wrote, because I asked people over in Europe and the UK, send me what is going on locally. I want to know what you find unusual in your local area, because a lot of times that's how we come across these things. Now, he said, this is very interesting. Ireland is being hit particularly hard with the flu virus now. He also says we are also having a large amount of fires as well. Train station, house fires, building fires, fires at zoos, killing of animals. Very strange, brother. And he just goes on to say that the number 12 is popping up everywhere. 12 fire engines with 12 people killed on the 12th floor of a building. This happened the same day as the New York fire, so which also included a number 12 at Lot. So a lot going on, my friend. What do you think?
Well, being Irish on both sides of my family, when anything goes bad in Ireland, I'm sure it's the Brits' fault. That much I know.
Well, it's just this flu virus. And so here in Denver, I'll stop the show. Here's the deal now. We're getting at a level that could be epidemic.
Wow.
And there is a second strain coming. Go
Of
figure.
the flu.
Of the flu.
Well, one thing I would urge you not to do is do not get your flu shot. That's for certain.
Well, and the thing is, they're really promoting here, get vaccinated, get vaccinated. And I'm going, well, wait a minute. Let me just see if I got this right. You told me years ago that if I got vaccinated in September, I would be sure to be well protected by January, because it took that long to build the antibodies, right? Am I right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Now they're saying, forget that, man. Get the vaccination.
Yeah. And in the New York Times was out a couple of weeks ago saying that nationwide, the flu virus is 1% effective. Uno for all of our Spanish listeners.
So, Gaz, thank you. Thank you, man. Appreciate this. Send some more. This kind of stuff really helps. It tells me what's going on, Jeff, worldwide.
And it's crazy.
It is crazy.
You know, some people are saying 30%, 10%. You know, I read in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago, 1%. So, and, you know, Rocker Check says the doctors are begging her to get a flu shot. Well, the doctor's making,
well, they get,
$20-$30 per shot. So the doctor just wants to, I mean, doctors are trying to make a living too. And if they can put $30 a pop into their, I was going to say in their pants, but I really meant into their pocket. If they can put $30 a pop into their pocket for every flu shot, of course they want you to get one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I tell you, doctors today, it wasn't as lucrative as it was years ago.
No, I mean, they're trying to make a living too. They really are.
They really
and who
are.
knows what is in those flu shots? You know, Wayne, I shudder. I was in the Air Force for over 6 years, and I had a shot record that was about a quarter of an inch thick, and they kept us filled with shots the whole time I was in. And I just hopefully don't have any of that stuff still circulating around in my body. It's been about 20 years. Hopefully it's all gone, and I lived through it all, and I'm pretty much quite normal.
Now we know. That I hate to hear
No.
that, Jeff. On a serious note, that is just not right. I don't know. You know, it's like we feed off of each other. I mean, they inject us with things that who knows? And you're right, like you said, it may be 20, 30, 40 years. Hopefully nothing will ever show.
And
Hopefully,
you say we feed off each other. That makes me think of Soylent Green as people.
boy, isn't that? I just recently watched that.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yes, I did. People should watch it.
That's coming.
Yeah. I saw an article today that absolutely kind of just set me back. So we know that the world population is just continue to escalate. So in some parts of the world, particularly like in Singapore, Hong Kong, their land mass has reached saturation. That's why they're building up. Can't house any more people. So the problem is that the housing has become so expensive that, even if you make what they consider here to be an upper middle income there, you can't even afford the rent. So guess what they come up with? Are you ready for this? The sewer pipes that they lay in cities, right, that have about an 8-foot circumference. Get this, an 8 by 10 foot of pipe, and that's how they're going to start housing people.
You know what? It might help us living in things that are round rather than things that are square. I'm a guy that has downsized my living capacity. To me, that really doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah. So it goes to show you where we are. Listen, I am an advocate that we have enough resources here in America for any person who's willing to work. I think that's the whole thing. If it's given, it's very seldom appreciated. But if it has to be earned, there is a certain ownership that comes with pride of ownership.
Absolutely.
And, when I look what happened the last 8 years, the last previous administration, we spent supposedly $1.8 trillion to help the homeless, to have programs, social programs that would raise people up out of that.
Is that the homeless in Israel or the homeless here?
Well, it obviously isn't the homeless here because it's at epidemic levels. And my whole point of this is that if you look at what we just give to other nations, the United States alone, we could literally build every person who's willing to put the sweat equity, much like Habitat for Humanity. We could literally, and the land is there. Now, some would question in some regions of increased stress upon the land, the infrastructure. I agree. But there are plenty of other places in the United States that where you could have a quality of life that would be, I think, quite nice. So my whole point to all this, Jeff, is that I think that if we really rethought this, and eventually we will elect awakened, enlightened politicians who will be statesmen, not politicians, they'll actually, I think, start working for that because of the energy that we're doing here today. That's my point.
Wayne, I've driven back and forth across this country at least 6 or 7 times. I can't remember exactly how many. And I want to tell you something, my friend. You can literally drive for days and see nothing. There is plenty of land. There is plenty of room. In fact, this was true about 10 years ago. It may not be true quite anymore, but you could put the whole population of the earth inside the city limits of Jacksonville, Florida, and give every person 1 square foot. Maybe it spills over for all of Duval County now. But the point of the matter is, we're really not out of land. We're just living too close together in certain areas. If we'd spread out and do what we know how to do, there's plenty of room for everybody. Don't buy, in my opinion, the hype of, oh my God, we're all going to be falling off the edge of the flat earth or the edge of the continents into the water because there's not enough room. There is room.
Well, I have a thought. By the way, someone asked what movie that was. Soylent Green.
It's called Omega Man. The movie was called The Omega Man.
No. That is the other one. There was an Omega Man and Soylent Green. And Omega Man, he was the colonel that had taken the antivirus. And Soylent Green, he was the cop that was dealing with the overpopulation. And the Soylent plants were where they were actually taking all the dead humans.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't happen very often. I was wrong.
Oh, my God.
No. I must admit it. I was wrong.
Well, I know I actually knew Charleston Heston, so I was a big fan of his. I actually knew him several times. I worked at a couple of industry events where he was at. He was a very strong
his cameo role in Tombstone.
Yep. And Edward G. Robinson was in Soylent Green. He was the one who decided to commit suicide, which they had suicide centers. If you were ready to end your life, the state would you would go to the receiving center It would, if you wanted a religious ceremony, you would have that. If you were one of a higher ascension, you'd have that. You drank this elixir, and 10 minutes later, you're gone. We can't hear you, Jeff.
Rocker Chick is finding it hard to believe that I was wrong, but every now and then.
Oh, well.
And T-Will says that's the only time, and you may be right, T-Will.
Sometimes that's how it is.
Sometimes that's just the way it is.
All right. So I want to talk about another thing that Brenda I have one of my subscribers, Jeff, who is, and she's a subscriber, I think, for over you as well. She's been doing some very interesting research. And I will tell you this. There is strong evidence now that is actually coming from FAA and multiple news sources starting back to 2011 to just last week. Jeff, runways are having to be readjusted.
Runways are having to be readjusted?
Yeah.
For what?
All right. So you get a bearing on one airport to the next.
Right.
That's how you know that you're going to leave Denver International and arrive at this case, let's say in Wichita, Kansas. They couldn't do that. They had to begin to manually adjust the runway setting because the runway had changed positions.
That's interesting. I'd have to see some actual, more data on it to buy in, but that does sound interesting. I spent, 6 years on a flight crew in the U.S. Air Force, and I'm somewhat familiar with that. So it'd be interesting to find out if it is in fact true, what's causing that.
I'll give you some facts here. Tampa International, Peter O'Knight Airport in Florida, both renumbered per article from January 2011. Oakland International in California, renumbered per article from November 2013. John Wayne Airport in California, renumbered per article from September 2014. Boeing Field in Washington and McCarran International in Las Vegas, renumbered per articles from August 2017. Wichita to renumber per article of January 2018. So we have all the articles, all the backup reporting. This is happening. This is no longer speculation. This is happening. And it's happening not only here in the United States, but apparently it's happening around the world as well.
And it looks like the Las Vegas Journal is reporting that it's a magnetic shift that's prompting the renumbering of runways.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what's happening.
Interesting. Magnetic shifts.
It's happening, folks. We are witnessing. The slide has already started. It can't be stopped. We're heading for something. And the question that no one knows, it's lots of white papers, a lot of speculation, is the jump going to be this continual degradation, or is we going to hit a point of the precipice and that triggers the reversal?
And they adjusted Vegas by 4 degrees, it looks like. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens with that.
Well, this is the kind of thing that
now, Wayne, would it matter if it was a flat Earth? Would they have to make those adjustments? No, seriously, would they? Do you know?
Well, that then becomes even more interesting, because what you're saying, if on a flat Earth, that plane, then something's happening to your plane.
Yeah, how could your plane shift?
Yeah.
So might be another reason not to believe in the flat Earth. I'm just saying.
Well, I figure everyone has their right to believe whatever they want to believe.
They do.
So
crazy people have rights too.
I have to say, Brenda, you're just doing an exceptionally good job. Jeff, we got the best people around here, I'm telling you.
Absolutely. They're good people.
So when we see that going on, It begins to ask the question, so what are we seeing? If we're seeing a shift already in magnetic positioning, let me read you something. Brenda, I'm going to go ahead and read this. We're actually going to do a complete show on this, but here's this. Article link below was written in 2011 and was a most interesting find, particularly paragraph 3. In that paragraph, it quotes the U.S. Geological Survey as stating that magnetic north rate of wandering was approximately 40 miles per year, representing a 36% increase over the last 10 years. That would be at the rate of increase from 2001 to 2011. Since the article was written in that year. So we are seeing an uptick in the speed with which it is migrating. And she's continued to doing the research.
So what does it all mean, Wayne?
Means our planet's changing. I think we're in an unprecedented time. I don't know of anyone or the records that we have of humans witnessing the last magnetic pole shift.
And so you think it happened before there were humans then?
Well, we know by the geological record, the fossil record, we know that something happened about 600,000 years ago. That apparently was the last time there was, in fact, this magnetic flip. Now, that record shows that there was a lot of volcanic action just by the layer of ash. So what are we seeing? I don't know.
Here's an interesting question. Who said that? Aurora Rain asks, what if the planes putting out the chemtrails are holograms? Now there's mixing a few conspiracies. I like it.
Well, I don't know. I have seen chemtrails that had no plane in front of them. I've recorded it. I see the chemtrail. I just can't see the plane. It's as if there is no plane there at all.
Maybe it's cloaked aircraft putting out chemtrails.
Thank
Maybe
you
it's Wonder
for
Woman's
bringing that up. May I bring up, give me 1 second, please. I have something that I want to share with you, Jeff, and the rest of the group. Speaking of cloaked okay, hold on a second. I can't do that. I have to do this.
Now, I did get an email from Tiffany today up in Michigan. She saw that big blue, orange, white, yellow meteor ball.
Oh, she did.
Sky, and then she heard a great big huge boom, which caused her house to shake. And I like to know how meteors that don't hit the ground cause earthquakes.
Amazing, isn't it?
It really is.
So this is from Sue G. She was out, I think she said at the soccer field, and just started taking some pictures. Now we can see the chemtrails here. We can see here. I want everyone to pay attention to this area right here. This area, in fact, I will blow it up for everyone so you can see. This area right here are artificial clouds. And I'm going to show you something, Jeff, so she takes her pictures. And I want to show you now we're seeing this odd aberration of these clouds, and I'll blow it up for everyone.
So how do we know when a contrail turns into a chemtrail?
Well, because a contrail will evaporate within typically 30 seconds, no more than a minute beyond that. It's moisture. It's gone. And remember, the higher up you get, there's less moisture there is. So take a good look at this picture, Jeff. Do you see the craft? Remember, folks, this is an illusion. This is false clouds. These are the chemtrails here, and then you can see that there's even more up over here. I'll just get everyone so you can see it. There's the craft. You see the triangle?
Interesting.
I'll even get it closer for everyone. There is the craft. Folks, clouds do not come in 90-degree isosceles triangles. They don't come in this. Do you see how the cloaking system is working here? And I'll pull back for everyone. Sue, this, as I told you earlier, when we walked through this was phenomenal. And now when you get a view of this, there's another one down here. So as I told her, this clearly looks to me like she caught probably a squadron. And you can see how they're doing this, whatever field they're using. And this is the clue. When we get this greasy, you see this? You see the vibration in the clouds? It's different than the clouds down here. But when we get over here, I believe this is the influence that we're seeing being put out by these multiple crafts. Now, she lives down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Here we get again another great shot. There are some military bases down there that are been known for their advanced research. Look at this one. This one even came out better. And you can see how the device is working. Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting.
So I think that this is reversed engineered technology. I think these are our birds up there. And I think that she just happened to be aware enough to, and we're going to bring her on. Look at this one. And as she continued to take these pictures, she was just clicking. Look at that. That amazing?
Interesting stuff.
I don't know what they're saying in the chat, but I just wanted to show you what we are dealing with here. And you know, the thing about it is, I believe, Sue, if you're correct, if you're in here tonight, as she was saying, now you can see what's happening. Do you see what happened? This is breaking off from this group. You can actually see the distinguish on this. I just told her, I said, this is remarkable footage. So anyway, my friend, again, I'll just play them out for everyone. Look at that.
They're asking if you shared this with Secure Team.
I have not yet. I'll send it over to Tyler because this is the first time I've actually seen a squadron. That's what I call them. It's old school, I know, but that is a squadron. And I think that these are coming out of the base there and right out of Fort Worth.
Well, if it is something like that, it almost looks to me like it's more like one big one, and you're just pointing out different aspects of it. If you really pan back and look at it, it almost looks like a classic UFO saucer shape, a great big one.
Could be,
that's
Jeff.
what it is.
Yeah. And there you can see it's gone. She said literally she was clicking, gone. And I said, well, look at the signature here. That's what I caught my eye on. This is out of balance with the rest of what's going on. And look at the chemtrails. They're just mucking up the skies. So, yeah.
Could be.
There you go, buddy.
Could be. Interesting stuff.
Well, you know what? We live in interesting times, do we
We do
not?
live in interesting times, no doubt about it.
You know? And you know, when I looked there in Clearwater, that's where you live, right?
It is.
Yeah, that is Gulfport. How far is that? Not Gulfport. What is that place there in? Is it Gulf Shores? There's a place right near you, kind of going northwest, a hotspot of UFO activity.
And that's out in the panhandle of Florida. That's probably a 7-8 hour drive from here.
Okay.
Florida is deceptively large when you start driving along the coastline, the Gulf Coast. And there is a place up there in the panhandle that is notorious for UFO activity.
Are there any military bases around there?
And there's military bases all over the panhandle of Florida.
Ah,
Air Force, Navy,
oh,
Army.
Air Force. Okay. Well, then you look right there in Alabama. I mean, you got Mobile, and then you got Birmingham, and then Huntsville. Huntsville has always been into advanced, how shall we say, technology.
And of course, you've got the Kennedy Space Center right there as well. Just, you know, a 20-minute flight from anywhere in Florida.
And by the way, everyone should go there. It is a real, I enjoyed it.
I've lived in Florida all my life and have never been there, believe it or not.
Jeffrey Doherty.
What should I go there and see? What's over there?
Well, I think number one, you actually get to see Atlantis, just to be able to see the actual craft. I mean, let me tell you what, it's one of the greatest tragedies of our country is when the Obama administration ended the shuttle program. Those were magnificent. We were ready to go to the next generation, but why you should go there, you have the opportunity to see that craft there and to see what it did. It's just that alone. So
I definitely need to do it. Now, they have things where you can actually like have breakfast with an astronaut. It might be worth
cool.
I wonder if I could. I probably couldn't film that if I had breakfast with an astronaut, though.
Why couldn't you?
Maybe I could, especially if I did
I mean,
serendipitously.
Well, I think that there is a way of social media. Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll have breakfast with an astronaut and slip in a few silly questions for him.
I have found most of the officers, astronauts, to be most accommodating. Really, I have.
Yeah, I believe you can have breakfast with an astronaut and have a tour, and it's less than $200.
That's a deal. That really is.
Do that. We'll make that. We'll put. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. It's maybe a 3-hour drive for me. I could do that on my way up to St. Augustine.
That would be cool. It really would. Going to play any golf?
I'm not a golfer. I believe what Mark Twain said. Golf is a good walk spoiled.
Yeah, it's the only game that there's no perfect game, right?
So, I used to play. I mean, my heyday, I shot 10 over at Disney World one time, and
wow,
that was it. I said, I'm done.
Cool deal. Well, listen, I think everyone should go and see what we've actually done. Because I am learning, Jeff, there are some people that I'm going to, and I'm not making fun of this person. I want to state that for the record right now.
That's my job.
Okay. You do that. I'll tell you the story. True story. And they posted it. So I'm just going to repeat what they posted. They said that I was in error teaching false information about the Dark Ages, that it had nothing to do with the dark forces. It was due to the fact that there was no electricity.
Say that again?
I swear. That when I brought out in one of my series, I forget which one it was. Anyway, in fact, I can actually, you have to see this to really, give me 1 second. Here it is. It's the greatest lie ever told. Let me see where we are, Jeff. Are you ready for this?
Is that one of those frustrated middle-aged women that hate you and me?
I don't know, brother. Look at this. Read it for yourself.
Although
Kayla,
I believe the
you
Bible
wrote this. I'm
is a
not
work of
making fun
pure
of you.
fiction, in most part, I have to point out a blatant and painful misunderstood by you. The Dark Ages were actually named as such because before electricity and therefore light was invented. Surely she's kidding, Wayne.
She is not.
Oh, that might be the silliest thing I've ever heard, and that's saying something. So they were
Uh,
called the Dark Ages because there was no electricity.
yes.
But there was
Yes.
candles and there was gas lamps and there was a lot of stuff like that.
I'm not making fun of the person. I just,
I am. That's hilarious.
it's the cognitive dissonance that when I read that, that's what I was hit with. I went, what?
Well, we go into the Dark Ages every night around my house.
Oh man. I just,
Wayne, I have to admit, you've made a change in my life. At night when I go to sleep, I do turn off my Wi-Fi.
good, good. Are you sleeping better?
I always sleep great.
Yeah. But how are your dreams?
My dreams are always, I have them, and sometimes they're more intent than others. But like today, I'm trying to get over this. I had like a 4 or 5 hour nap, so I sleep great.
Good, good, good.
The Dark Ages, there's no electricity. That's awesome. That had nothing to do with the fact that there was a lack of learning and cultural and social and scientific advancement.
Oh, and I'll just say it right here. I
Somebody
mean,
says all women wore black then too. That's why it was the Dark Ages.
well, here's the deal. I pointed out in that documentary the fact that 250 million people died at the hands of the church. That's the Dark Ages, folks.
That is the Dark Ages.
They sealed up the books. They sealed up knowledge. And they invented your devil, your Satan. They invented the concept of hell. And that was Dark Ages.
And Mark says that's obviously when Batman came about too. The Dark Knight came from the Dark Ages. So it all adds up.
Well, and that's why the common man, paganism, if you want to call it that, the occult, that's how the commoner was able to survive. And whether you want to believe it or not, I mean, but that's where our lineage and ancestry lies in. So what's
Someone
up?
says, in them days, it was dark all day and night, says D Truth.
Oh man. I mean, and it's just that
dark humor in here. Rocker Chick says this is dark.
Yeah, it is. This is dark. I know. So I guess we ought to be moving on along on that. I don't know, but come on. I can't believe that.
Somebody says it's pretty obvious if you just look at it. Just look at it.
It's just, I don't know.
Rex, the ubiquitous Rex reference has to rear its head.
All I got to say is just keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking.
That's all we got to do, folks. And we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Keep on trucking.
Woo! So, do you have anything to top that?
I don't know. That's a good one. That's a crazy one. It really is.
And listen, again, it's very difficult for most people to accept. And I hope that you were being humorous, but you didn't read that away.
That sounds almost too silly to be true.
Yeah.
Now, Brenda asked, did the Dusk Ages precede the Dark Ages?
The what ages?
The Dusk Ages.
I don't know how you take that. I mean, that's a good.
You know,
I could give that from a philosophical point of view. I think you could give it from your point of view of a theology point of view. My contention is that the end of the Roman Empire was the last vestige of the Golden Age.
Did the Roman Empire ever end, Wayne?
Well, its structure, its belief systems, no. But I think
government's still in charge. Its religion is still in charge. Its governmental structures are still in charge.
Well, the religious aspect of it has morphed considerably from what it was as an empire.
Has it?
Well, it was more hedonistic and
I'm
not
talking about
he.
300 AD, post 300 AD Rome.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking pre 300 AD.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I look at that because I also look at that as the end of, um, you know, the Greek influence. So, yeah, what happened to man? Well, they sealed everything up. They burned the library at Alexandria. Then they burned the library at Constantinople.
Christians, by the way.
Yeah, threw the books out there that the river, and I forget the river that goes right through by Constantinople, flowed black for days. Knowledge gone. Knowledge gone.
That's just unbelievable.
What is the river that goes by? Um, I can't think of it. Anyone else in there know?
I'm
Do,
looking
do,
for it. I
do,
can't
do,
find it.
do. Well, anyway, those losses to humanity. And then if you look at the systematic destruction, particularly of the church, and you look at the Spanish conquest of the new Americas, particularly in South America, where that knowledge was burnt, destroyed, leave no vestige behind. The tumult, they did everything they could to burn that thing and get rid of that.
Isn't the Tiber in Rome? Somebody said the Tiber.
I think you may be right.
I think that's Rome. But that's the same God, brought to you by the same God that said, kill every baby, every boy, every girl, every man, every woman, several times. Same God, brought to you by your friendly Yahweh rat bastard.
And that's how it is. I mean,
And while you're at it, burn all the books too.
Well, and they did. And if you happen to disagree, the movie Assassin's Creed is a interesting, different point of view on the Templars. And, that
I think I saw that. That was good.
It was a great movie. I mean, they didn't see them as the good guys. We had the discussion today with Sue. Her and I were talking about the dragon. The video I did on the patches. I mean, the dragon's everywhere. Everywhere. So
is the dragon good or bad?
Bingo.
It depends on who you ask. Over in the Far East, they would tell you the dragon is good.
It's good. Good luck. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And yet, from all objective biblical text, you could say that Yahweh is a dragon, and he doesn't seem to be a very good dragon.
Well, whether
dragons are like everybody else, Wayne, some good, some bad.
I thought Smaug was a great representation of the dragon.
I'm not know who Smaug is.
Oh, the Hobbit. The Hobbit. The Desolation of Smaug.
Yeah, I'm not into all that, so.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately.
You should be. They did a great job on the dragon.
Oh, did they? And somehow Willie Nelson's name came up. I'm not sure how.
Willie?
Yeah.
What is
Willie? Willie, I read, just had to cancel some concerts because he was sick. So good. Hopefully Willie Nelson will feel better.
Hopefully. He's getting old.
Yeah, I hate to lose Willie Nelson.
How old is he?
Old.
Anyone know? 89?
I bet he's 88, 89.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And he went through one song and he had to quit, so.
Oh, it's the passage of time. It truly is, Jeff.
Willie Nelson is 84 years old.
84.
Dolly Parton is 71 years old.
71?
And Kenny Rogers is 79.
Kenny used to look really good. Excuse me, folks. Not anymore.
No, and Chris Christopherson is 81. Oh, Puff the Magic Dragon. That's how we got to Willie Nelson. Got it.
Oh.
You a pothead, Fokker?
I get it. That's cool. Someone is really on the toes there.
Somebody's on their toes. Yeah.
Well, never mind. Someone would say, well, that's insensitive.
Willie, Rocker Chick's making fun of me. How old is Willie Nelson? Jeff, old. He is old. He's really old.
I don't know. I look at 71 as not so old anymore.
Well, he's 84 though.
Well, I guess when I get 75, 84 is going to still look, it's like, hey, yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
It's just the fact that, these bodies, I think they were initially designed to last much, much longer.
I agree. Somebody said Kenny Rogers' face is only about 25 though.
Well, he had plastic surgery done, and
has anyone ever had better plastic surgery than William Shatner? Find out who that man's doctor is, because he is a master.
Dave Clark, Dick Clark, thank you.
I'm sure Dave Clark looks well.
Dave Clark 5, I was thinking, but Dick Clark, he looked good all the way up to the end. And then in the last 6 months, man, it was like, what happened, dude? Did you step through a machine that sucked you dry like a succubus or what?
Maybe he was a reptilian shapeshifter.
I don't know. But I still contend these bodies, Jeff, were designed, I'm convinced of it, at least 1,000 years, at least. I mean, again, it's whoever came in to the kitchen and screwed with the recipe. We were fine.
What was the recipe, Wayne? What caused us to begin to age?
Well, I postulated a theory that actually came from...
Somebody asked if you've ever seen a dinosaur, Wayne.
Have I ever seen a dinosaur? Yes. Everyone has. You probably eat one more often than you imagine. Chicken. Yeah. So, see?
I thought that was an old joke, maybe.
I don't know. That keeps you on your toes,
There's no way Shatner uses the same surgeon as Michael Jackson.
I don't know.
There's no way. Michael Jackson's doctor wasn't that good.
No. I don't know what Shatner does, but getting back to the point, we see the asteroid belt, right?
Right.
Now, we still don't know how it got there. We postulate a lot of different theories.
Didn't you say that's Nibiru all busted up?
Well, it could be, maybe it is or was our home planet. If you look at the spatial distance between Mars to Jupiter, that's where the asteroid belt is. It's in the right place where a planet should have been.
I'm still wondering if you can see Nibiru from the flat Earth during the Mandela effect.
I have no idea. I think that's a contradiction that begins with the first statement there. It's like, I have no idea how to respond to that. But
so you think it could be Nibiru, and Nibiru got busted all up?
Oh, I think that there is so much we don't know.
I agree.
And I'm not willing to bet the farm on one particular idea or theory.
Now, it seems like the Nibiru Planet X has kind of died down as a subject. Am I thinking wishfully, or is it really kind of on the decline?
Well, the problem was many people in that genre began to start putting dates on things.
Gotcha.
And Gil Broussard was one of them. Put September 2015. That was going to be the date. Then it was 2016 or 2017. It's kind of like Congress in dealing with the budget and immigration. They just kick the can down a little further and go, well, we'll deal with it later on. Because at some point, something is going to happen. And it's like...
It hasn't hurt L.A. Marzulli or Scott Clark's numbers. I mean, how long do people continue to listen to people that keep setting dates and keep getting them wrong?
I'll just be honest with you. Fear is as good as sex.
Fear sells.
I mean, it releases endorphins. When you're fearful, it's that primitive thing from whatever it was in our past of, fear and flight.
Right. Fight or flight.
Yeah. And if you're going to fight, it's the whole thing about our species is that I don't ever believe that we were ever meant to be a warrior race, but we are. And, this theory, I happen to think because it was some people that were doing remote viewing, and what they saw was quite remarkable. If you think about the moon, what if the moon is actually an arc?
An arc?
Yes.
Like a 2x2 kind of arc?
Yes. ARK. Think about this. Our moon does not rotate. Our moon is unlike any other moon in the solar system.
Roger Jake says, sorry, Wayne, but fear is not as good as sex.
All right. Let's say almost as well. I mean,
So would the ultimate be scary sex? I'm not even sure what that would be.
I just thought of something, but I'll keep my mouth shut on that one.
Anyway,
moving right on along, it brings up the whole thing about what is that thing up there? What if, in fact, we can't seem to remember where we come from. I think we're much older than what we have been taught and what we have been led to believe. I believe us, this version, the bipedal form. Jeff, what are you laughing at?
It's just going downhill in the chat room. Quick.
Yeah, we're going to try to uplift the vibration here. Anyway, moving right on along, I forgot what the hell I was even talking about.
We're talking about I can't remember what you were talking about either, but it was good, Wayne. It was
whatever it was, I'm sure it was.
You're talking about the moon being an arc. We don't remember where we come from.
Well, that's the point. Yes, thank you. We don't know where we came from. Even if you go for the Judeo-Christian version of the story, you don't know how long that was. And, that's where the mind coitus comes in. And the next thing you know, you're getting all wrapped around the axle because we don't know. I contend we may be millions of years old, our species. And I think somehow, whether it was through adapting to the environment that we were placed into, that this is the result. If you think about the theory that we came potentially from this planet, now some people believe we may have come from Orion. But let's just postulate for this conversation that we came from that asteroid belt, whatever that planet was. Well, do you know, Jeff, just if you took the longevity of a year, right? An Earth year to that, what that would be a year in, do you know how much more we would be aged?
That's a good point.
Think about that, folks. 1 year here would be the equivalency, I think, of almost 50 years there.
Interesting. Somebody just asked an interesting question. They asked me, what does the Earth look like when you astral travel? And, it looks, like the Earth. You're up there and you see it. And I'm just wondering, and I'm not trying to harp on this, I'm really wondering, people that believe in the flat Earth, if they do astral project, do they see a flat Earth or do they see a round Earth? Because I definitely see around Earth when I astral project.
I always see this. It's the most beautiful blue color. And the next thing I know, I step right through this color and, I don't see the Earth anymore.
Wayne, what happens when you do mushrooms?
You really want to know?
Just from a scientific point of view, describe to me of what happens when you do mushrooms.
So the effects of psilocybin is very interesting. Once you digest the mushrooms, the effect will start about within 10, 15 minutes, depends on how fast your digestive system breaks down the psilocybin, and it begins to be absorbed into the bloodstream.
Does it make you throw up?
Some people have. I never threw up, but I don't like mushrooms today. I don't like
Okay.
eating them. So the next thing you start feeling is your body. Your body begins to have a very heightened sense of awareness.
Okay.
And then the mind starts setting in. And psilocybin is a hallucinogenic. Um, it will start reflecting what you are.
So if a
And
person goes into it seeking a profound spiritual experience, that's pretty much what they can expect to have.
yeah, they'll actually have it. Dr. Miller and I were talking offline, and it's the fact that when people had bad trips on LSD, they're having bad trips because they ain't liking what they're seeing.
Gotcha. How long does the effect last typically?
Typically with mushrooms, the effects will be over within 4 to 6 hours.
Wow, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm. LSD will last 12 hours or more.
Do people ever have bad trips on mushrooms?
Yes. Yes. I've
So,
seen people who begin to have bad hallucinations, and the next thing you know, the body's going to react. I see people that many times who had bad hallucinations, they break out in hives. You know, it's because that's what's happening to their body. Their body's being dumped with huge amounts of adrenaline, uh, dopamines, endorphins. All of these are hitting, and the synaptic pathways are
hello, Trisha.
firing. Hi, Trisha. How you doing, dear? All of them are just firing, 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 and that's what people can't handle sometimes, Jeff. When you think about the normal person, um, you lay down a new synaptic pathway within 21 days. Within 28 days, then it becomes basically a transit of memory, habits, etc. And with most people, those synaptic pathways become hardened because they never expand out. They don't begin to utilize other parts of the brain. The thing about psychedelics is that they will begin to activate new regions of the brain.
Interesting. Well, the chat room is overwhelmingly positive in regards to the use of mushrooms.
They've been proven for people who suffer from depression, post traumatic stress syndrome. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's interesting because you would think that that would have the opposite effect, but it doesn't. So that is how I experienced mushrooms, and I ate them quite a bit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's
So you want to have a good intention if you decide to take them, which we don't recommend. You'd have to have a really good intention and just
yeah.
keep your wits about you, and probably you don't want to do it alone.
Well, um, you know, if you're a strong mind, I mean, I wouldn't. But then again, it kind of depends. I mean, you don't want to go with a person who's a negative energy.
Trisha says she's having a cup of tea. I wonder what kind of tea she's having right now.
Ah,
I'm since we
right?
brought it up, are you able to have sex while you're on using mushrooms?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
You'll embarrass yourself.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, think about it. I I shouldn't be talking about this, but from back in my youth, um, it's intense because when you start getting into that plane, that energy, um, holy crapola. I mean, you talk about the intensity of thought.
Oh, so things might happen very quickly, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can go
Gotcha.
places that will take you places. I don't recommend it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the partner I was with freaked out.
Wow.
Freaked out. Literally.
Wow. Only on the Wednesday night midweek report do you get
Hey,
celebrated,
listen,
ladies and
what can
gentlemen.
I say? Good. Well, listen, it's life. This is what.
It's hard to think about sex when you can taste music. Wow.
Well, and I had the same thing. I could taste colors.
Interesting.
I can still taste blue.
What does blue taste like?
Blue is it's kind of a chalk type
Interesting.
of covering. White is one that dissolves. Um, black.
Who let Jen Fisher in here?
Hello, Jen. How are you? I made love to an orange with my mouth. There you go. You see, it's quite amazing. The
I bet her
mind,
face broke out because she probably did it forever.
the mind is quite. It's an amazing place. It is. So,
Wow.
Jeff, before we head out, I want to let everyone know this is a shameless plug, right? Uh, I want, if I could, tomorrow night, Jeff, and I'd like to have you on next week, but tomorrow is, let me show everyone my inaugural show, the Steiger Perspective, be on the Artist First Network. It is at 10 p.m. Eastern till.
Great title.
Thank you, sir. So, everyone, tomorrow night, make sure you tune in. I'm going to open the first show, Jeff, with kind of a lot of people have asked for kind of what my life has been like in a much
Great idea.
more longer format. So that's what I'm going to do.
Great idea.
So tomorrow night, if you want to know about my past, how it came, I'm going to get really into depth in particularly my youth and how all of this has led to where we are today. So anyway, I appreciate everyone who would come out and kind of support me on the opening night, my friend.
And mushrooms might even come up in that discussion.
They probably will. Good Lord. People don't understand. Cows, they may look stupid, but good Lord, I think that they have a ESP sensitivity. You think about it, their brains are big. Their brains are big.
They do have big brains.
They do. And I think sometimes I tell the story, and I'll get more into it, but when they circled us, they knew we were high. They knew it.
Interesting.
So anyway, Jeff, and I hope really that you'll come on the week after, and we'll have fun on that one. So, yeah, sir, this is I think going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Excelente.
Now, where can people hear you until you get out of timeout? And we're sending the energy of you're going to get a favorable ruling, and that the forces to be will simply understand that no one is perfect and that forgiveness is the highest form of ascension.
I think it's all done by, it's all it's all bots and AI, and something, it clicks in a program and YouTube doesn't, check anything. So if you get a copyright strike, they just nail you with it, and then it takes you 3 weeks to respond to it. So I don't think it's really anybody picking on anybody. It's just, bad, faulty program. So
it's
hopefully
like, where does YouTube exist?
Exactly.
I can't find. I'm sure there's an address somewhere.
So it's going to be probably another week and a half before I can do live shows on YouTube. I mean, I did 3 shows today, but they weren't live. So you can continue to find me on the YouTube channel. I hope that you'll all go there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can find me live on Twitter and Facebook. I'm going to set a schedule for it. I've been sick, so it's been hard for me to schedule it, but I'm going to try to do a lunchtime show and a drive time show on Twitter.
Oh, good.
Migrate some of those folks over from Twitter to the YouTube.
Can you leave a link on your YouTube homepage? Good deal.
I can and will.
Okay. I think that's smart. I want to see what this Twitter format looks like. I mean, Never seen it, and I know a lot of people use Facebook. So,
And I'm at unindoctrinate on Twitter.
Okay, that's cool.
The @ sign unindoctrinate with a capital U.
Yeah, and I'm actually, looking at as well as we begin to expand out. I think the next frontier is internet radio. I really do. It's unrestricted. It has none of the restrictions that YouTube puts on the creators. And I think as it begins to evolve, there are some great visionaries coming in that are going to make internet radio as interactive as YouTube, and if not better.
It's just all about driving traffic to your.
I think that's what it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I like YouTube's format. I like the fact that you have a live chat, that you can actually have an interaction. I'd love to have the opportunity to where we could actually have with people who could actually come in who wanted to and do a video chat, very quickly, just come in. And I think that that's eventually where it's going to go. I think that with 5G coming out, and now with the next generation of light technology, I think we're going to begin to see that that's going to become very commonplace.
It's like the old thing. If you have an internet radio show and no one listens, did it ever really happen?
Only in your own mind.
Only in your own mind, right?
Well, I guess if somewhere out there in space, you and I, is our image and our voices are.
I'm big on Mars, Wayne. Huge.
Listen, do you think that we originated from Mars? I mean, listen, Mars suffered a huge attack when if you take the fact that, let's just say, maybe some of our races came from this planet that was destroyed. The group that came in kicked Mars butt too. I mean, put a hurt on them.
They did, and I'm in the midst of studying that right now.
I think there's good foundation. Listen, we now know. Think about this, Jeff. Listen, we're going to go overtime. That all of my life, it was theorized there was no water on Mars. None. It was a barren, dead planet. Well, now we know there is water everywhere, right under the surface.
Yep.
Was it terraforming? Terraforming?
Terraforming, yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
But I'm on that. That's what I'm
good. I'll be curious to see what your conclusions come to as well.
I'll definitely share them with you.
All right. Just another thing. Friday night, Trisha G. And then Saturday night, Heidi is coming on to the channel. So
excellent.
And then you and I on Sunday morning, right?
We'll be there.
Keep yourself healthy, brother.
Will do.
We missed you.
So, will do. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming in tonight. I tell you, folks are the best. I mean, you know what, Jeff? If you look at the peacefulness of this group, I mean, this is like having, 250 of your best friends, sitting back and just sharing a drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be excited that when we can get back over on your channel, and I'm glad to see that the growth, congratulations on that. I think we're seeing growth everywhere. And I think that's part of our gift to other channels is that we promote you. We'll, do everything we can because we promote your growth. It's just sowing the seed of karma back into our life.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Be good to everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.
Good night, everyone.